Hi there, this is Mehdi Harris. I'm teaching Python here, and um, I hope these videos can help you with getting started with Python. We want to start a file from scratch, and I want to create that file under my codes subdirectory. So I opened my folder, and now I can see the subdirectories or directories in my um, folder. And under the codes folder, I would like to create a new file, and I want to name this lists and dictionaries, because we want to talk about lists and dictionaries. As you can see, this one still doesn't have a file type. To make sure that this file has a notebook type, we can just add the extension like .ipynb, and now you can see the icon has changed, and I have a new notebook here that I can start using. We need to get connected to Python and environment. I'm going to use my UDA environment. Sometimes you need to go to the environments and then select your environment. Um, that's great. So this is a brand new notebook. We can create some cells here. Let me increase the size so you can see it well. Okay, let's see. For example, we have pandas. There you go. This is pandas. um, I want to talk about lists, and lists are a data type that they can have a storage sequence for us. We talked about simple variables. For example, this one is this one is an integer variable. B would be a float variable because it's storing decimal points. T is a text or string variable that this is some people just use hello world. Well, we can use that, why not? Okay. And you can have also boolean or true false variables, so I can just say tf for true or false, and this can be false or can be true. Just notice that we are using uppercase T and uppercase F, and if it is typed correctly, then you can see that the color is slightly actually different. It's blue. We can run these variables and just run the cell and just get these variables, and let's just call them. For example, you can call A, B, and you can call the other ones too. There's a function that we call it type, so you can say ask what is the type of A, what is the type of B, what is the type of T, and what is the type of TF. Okay, so type works pretty well for those things. Lists are different. Lists are a sequence of variables. For example, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is a sequence of numbers. If I just run this, this would be in the output. Let's see what the type of a list is. Okay, the type of a list, sorry, I had a typo in my type. There is a list. So list is a sequence of items. Those items can be integer. So for example, I want to call this list of numbers. Okay, and we can say list of floats, and that would be 1.2, 3, 3.5, and 5.67, right? You can create a list of names, texts, and we can call this Medi. We can call this Ellen. We can have another one. Okay, so that's the list of strings or list of texts. You can have a space in those areas. That is totally possible. And you can have a list of booleans also. That would be basically the same story. And once you have assigned those variables, there are a few things that we can ask. For example, what is the length of a list of numbers? It is 5. What is the length of a list of floats? It is 3. And what is the length of a list of names? That's 3. Lists have some methods. For example, you can ask how many ones do you have in your list of numbers. Okay, you can ask what is the count of 1. Sorry, what is the count of 1? That was 1. How about if we had 2 ones here? We can have, you can have items that are repeated. It doesn't need to be unique. So you have 2 number 1 here, right? So that's one very useful method for list. Another very useful method for list is appending one item to that. For example, I can append 10 to my list of numbers. Let's see what is a list of numbers now. So you have 10 at the end. You can add 15 and then say, okay, also give me the output here. There you go. Okay, so you can add 15. So that's how you can add an item. I think you can also remove. I believe you can remove one variable, one item. Let's say remove 5. I believe this will remove 5. Yes, so you can remove an item. If I say remove 1, what happens? So the first value of 1 was removed, not the second. So you see, it is a little bit not, it can be tricky. So I usually don't use remove, but append is something that you use a lot. So make sure that you remember append method. What else we have for we talked about length. Okay, for lists, something that is really interesting is that you can call one specific item based on the index of that item. The indexing in Python starts from 0, so that's location or position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if I say list of numbers, I want number 3, which would be the item in the 4th position. 0, 1, 2, 3. So we should get 4. You can get number 4, which is position 5th, and position 6 and 7. Okay, using 6. What happened if I say 7? We should see an error because our list does not have that index. That index is not created. It is shorter than that. Index 7 means that you need to have at least 8 items here, and we don't. So that's why we are getting an error. So this is very useful method for getting the index or the position of a number, an item in a specific position. Another useful thing is -1, which gets always the last item. If you get -2, you'll get 1 to the last. So basically you're counting from the last. Another interesting way of using list, we call it slicing. So for example, say I want to say start from position index 1, which is second position, going through all the way to 4. So we call this slicing. So I'm getting the slice of this list. You see that it returns a list. It returns a list, and that list is from position 1, which is 2, 3, and 4. Position 4, let's think about this. Position 4 would be here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, position 4 is not included itself. It's just 1 before that. So when we say 1 to 4, in fact we are saying 1, 2, and 3. Those positions are the ones that we want. So 1, 2, and 3 will be the positions that we want. Position 5 goes 1 further, 2, right? So you are getting a list. Therefore, the outcome of a slice is always a list. Even if I say from 2 to 3, you are getting 3. What happens if I say from 2 to 2? Empty, because basically we are not even moving forward. We said we are excluding the last position here. Okay, so a slicing always returns a list, but if I say I want position index 3, you are getting number 4. But what is the type of 4? You can do that here. You can ask what is the type of the outcome of LSD underscore numbers index 3. That type is integer because you are getting a single value of this list, right? If I get the single value of LSD names, I guess 0, we need 2. It is a string. Why? Because that item is John, which is a string. So lists can hold strings. I'm going to, after this, talk about dictionaries, but I guess I'll record that in a separate video so we can talk about that, and you can have 2 videos on this. Have fun with lists.